Hello everyone, time for a new video. I thought I would talk about something that some people might not understand really, which is very important, and that is like how research works. So let's dive in as Prussia here and take a closer look at research. So if we go here to the technology screen, we can see that Prussia starts having research all tier 1 techs and a few tier 2 techs, quite many tier 2 techs. Prussia starts relatively advanced. And if, let's say, we would take this Bessemer process, it would cost 10k and take 3 years to research. But if we would take a level 3 tech, it would cost 40k and it would take 13 years to research. And why is this one so expensive? Let's take a closer look here. So the base for a tier 3 tech is 12,500, but because there is still 9 techs left in era 2, they call it era apparently, then the cost is increased by 28,125. So it costs, just because it's like ahead of time, or because you don't have, it's not ahead of time like in other Paradox games, but because I have not researched all tier 2 techs yet, then it becomes very, very expensive, and I've done the math, and it's never worth it to research from an era as long as you have still left. Like it's never worth it to take a tier 3 tech if you still have tier 2 techs left to research. So let's count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if we would like focus on the production techs, we should just queue up all of them and then go for if we are looking to go for Steelway cars. So I hold down shift and then I just basically queue them up like this. And if you want to like that reset button doesn't work, so but you can always like remove them and choose another tech if you want. So that's the most important thing to know about technology. Never ever research ahead of time in the same category, production, if never ever research from an era that's more advanced. Okay, so that's the first thing that's important to know about technology. The next thing is to look here. If you hold the mouse like this and then like this, you can see that we are gaining 58.3 research from innovation, and if you hold here you can see a bit more details. So we are generating, every country generates 50 in base value, so every country generates 50 innovation, and because we have universities in the state of Brandenburg, we're generating 8 more, and a maximum of 112 innovation can be invested into active research, and that's because 50 base value, and then we have a literacy rate, as you can see in the top left, of 41%. So that means that we can have, theoretically we can have 62 universities in our country, and it would actively contribute to research. But as you can read below, any innovation that are unspent due to investment cap or lack of active research will increase the technology spread. So let's look at the technology spread. The technology spread has a base value of 25 plus 31 for the literacy, and unspent innovation also gave some. And then we have negatives here. We have minus 20% tech spread because we have the law of censorship in Prussia, and also because the rural folk are unhappy. So censorship is this law. This law is good if you want to suppress or bolster an interest group, and it also gives some leverage resistance, which is not very useful, and it gives this technology spread minus 10%. The thing with this one is that almost all interest groups in the beginning used to support this law, so it's a very common law to have, and I used to play with it also, just because, as you can see, the landowners, petty bourgeoisie, armed forces, and the evangelical church, all of them loves that law. If we would go here, we would get rid of that technology spread, and this one it actually gives more, 25% technology spread. So if you are a developing nation that's behind on tech, then one strategy is to try to reform here so you can get this one. It can also be combined with the guaranteed liberties. But okay, so the next thing that's important for research is that a lot of these interest groups have different kind of cards that gets played if they are unhappy or happy. So let's just look here and see. So for example, here the armed forces, their cards gives 10% military research speed. So if we would, let's go back to the research. It would be good for us now to, instead of doing this one, going for a military tech. As you can see, it went up to 64, and that is because it doesn't say it in the tooltip, but it's because of 58, or that's 10% increase basically from that we have an happy armed forces group. And if you would like to min-max this game, then it makes sense to use, when the armed forces are happy, makes sense to research military techs, and when they are not happy, so you don't get it boost, then you research some other techs. And most techs have like a card for this, like the intelligentsia, like society research speed, for example. But they're not happy right now, so it would make sense to go for the military techs. When we can make the intelligentsia happy, then we go for the society research techs. And here is the production research tech under the industrialists, and it's often to make different groups happy can be done by increasing loyalists, but there can also come like random events and just different kind of luck that makes other groups happy. And here we have this one, the technology spread. So that one would be very useful to get rid of. And the main reason for you to get loyalists is because this gives a bonus, and radicals gives negative to these cards here. Something also that can influence research is the ruler traits, for example. This guy doesn't have any he doesn't have anything that impact research. So, and the next question is about qualification. Qualification is very important. It's actually more important than the research, I think. So you should base, like, research is something that happens. In this time they talk about, or economists, they talk about being close to the technological frontier, and that basically means we, maybe France, Britain, and so on, we're at the technological frontier. So we get not so much tech spreading, but we get this weekly innovation pushes the tech forward. But countries that are not at the technological frontier, like Russia, for them to catch up to the technological frontier, it would make some more sense to build and to get this to build universities and like catch up. And they also benefit a bit more from the technological spreading. It's not really implemented in the game. It's faster to catch up to the frontier, but it's in a way modeled in the game. So, but I think you should not actually base your strategy around tech as much as around qualifications. And qualifications, it's, if we're gonna go here to the development, it's, if I press here to build a university, you can see here, if it has a green check marks, then it has qualification to fill up all the jobs. And if you don't have a green check marks, then you would need to increase the qualifications. And there are 4 ways or something like that to increase the qualifications. One is to get these laws here, the public school system laws, and then because then you get access to this education institution which give education access. And education access and qualification, it's not instantly. So it's not instantly. Instead, it's like every pop grows its qualifications over time to go for a new job. So it's always useful, as I see it, to increase the education access. And institution only happens, they are only in incorporated states. So if you get like colonies in Africa, for example, they will often lack the necessary qualifications. And that means that many of these more advanced production methods, as you can see here, if we go from hand-sewn clothes to dye workshops, we are needing more, as you can see here, we are needing more machinists, and machinists needs better qualifications than just laborers and shopkeepers. So if you see, if you try to build a building and you see this has a red check mark, then you should start analyzing why does it have a red check mark and what can I do about it. If it is in Africa or in a colony that you do not plan to incorporate, as I see it, you should only incorporate states when you accept the population and not discriminate. And this is decided by this citizenship law. So in this case, we are only accepting German people. But if we would go to cultural exclusion, for example, we would accept every European, and multiculturalism, you accept everyone. So what you could do in Africa, it's a little bit like unintuitive, but it makes more sense to build universities sometimes in not incorporated states, because they cannot get the qualification access from the school institutions. So often it's better to build universities in non-incorporate states. It's a little bit, one would think, yeah, that's, of course we want to have the universities maybe in Berlin and maybe here in Düsseldorf or Dortmund or big cities, but as the game is designed, if you lack qualifications in the colonies, it might be better to build universities there. And the universities, they can be changed here also to give more innovation and more qualification, and I recommend you do it. And but as I see it, qualifications is the more important part than research. So you should build universities where you lack qualifications, and not only because you want more research, because it's not really worth it to build a university only for the research, but it's worth it if you need the qualifications. The next thing I want to talk about when it's about research and qualifications, it's that as you see here, the school system can only go to level 3. We can only go to level 3. We could increase it one time, but we can't go to level 5. And to go to level 5, which maybe not so many people knows, it's you need to pass a law here in children's right. You have to go from child labor allowed to primary compulsory school, and this one allows max 2 education institution investments levels, and that would also be huge for the qualifications. Then there is also this about the literacy, and the literacy is a little bit more hard to understand, but literacy is if we hold it over here, the literacy is how many can read. Obviously you can invest in, and it says here, certain professions demand higher literacy, limiting qualification for POPs in other professions unless the literacy is high enough, and you can invest in education in order to develop higher literacy in your population over time. And if you have a high literacy, you get less birth rate. As you probably know, most developed nations today have quite a low birth rate compared to how it was at this time period, and that is modeled in the game. But it's still good to get high literacy, high standard of living, and so on, because you attract more people from other places through immigration. That is, you attract more people through immigration than you lose by getting like a lower birth rate. For example, I'm from Sweden, and like when I grew up, there were like I think there was it was below 8 million people in Sweden, and Sweden the pure Swedish people, they have like a negative, like on average a couple gets less than 2 children, like maybe 1.5. So the Swedish culture is declining, but because so much immigration from the Arab world and Yugoslavia and so on, Sweden actually have like 13 or 14 million people now. Because we have this multiculturalism law in Sweden right now. So, and it's same in this game, that immigration, if you have a prosperous society, high literature, high standard of living, because everyone wants to move from a country with low literacy, I mean low standard of living to a high standard of living. That's like a economic fact. So you, even in this game, you earn more to have a good standard of living because of immigration. So I think this is probably the most important stuff about qualification. And if it's like that in your colonies in the non-incorporated states, that you still have the red check mark, what you should do, no, I don't have any colonies, but you could go, for example, let's say we have coal mines, and let's say Ruhr is in Africa now. What you could do then is that you can go backwards, do pick and shovels, because it's pointless to get advanced machinery in if the people are not educated to use it. Then it's better to go back to picks, using picks and shovels instead of more advanced machinery if you don't have qualification for it. So this is the most important things about research. And the something also like what are strong techs and what are weak techs. I've seen there is quite a lot of like tier list, what techs are good, what techs are bad. And usually, as I see it, you want these kind of techs because like war is important. You can lose this game because of warfare. So taking war techs, like for example this one, army defense, would be nice. And also there is some other key techs here. For example, this, if you can do colonization, which most European majors can do, then getting here to quinine so you can colonize places with malaria, that's kind of a key tech. I also like these techs over here. This one gives infrastructure, and these ones give companies, and this one gives higher investment. But all of these, and central banking and central archives, all of these are quite important to develop your nation. And also this, the human rights law, it's a tier 3. It's this one that you can get compulsory primary school. In production, important techs, if there is like what's it called, like a time when you want to go from, when you want to improve your construction sectors. First, many developing countries start with only wooden buildings, and then you only need cloth, fabric and wood to do that one. So you build a lot of these kind of construction sectors and a lot of wood. Then if you go to next level, you need both tool and iron. And to do that, to get those efficient, there is like a block of text here that's kind of working together. Here you can improve your tools and get steel tools, and this one improves the steel. But the most important is maybe these ones. It's two techs that improves the coal mines, and you use more tools and coal to improve all the mines, coal mine, iron mines and so on. And if you have sulfur, not many, there is a bit of a lack of sulfur here, then this one, intensive agriculture, is nice to get fertilizer plants. And you need fertilizer plants to build dynamite, and dynamite that you get here, they can also improve the mining. And once you have like this group of techs to the right here in the production tree, then you're basically ready to go to this one, iron frame buildings, and then that will give a lot more production basically. So I think these that is the most important about research as I see it. So thanks for watching.